Okay, sorry for the wet hair, I just took a shower, but we have 7 books today, so get your cup of tea and let's start.
I like coffee with my coffee. I'm a no bullshit kind of girl. No room for creamer or that vanilla stuff either. I need something real to fill my cup.
Okay, so another month, another wrap up. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Isabel, and today we're talking about the books that I read this January. We have everything this month. We have memoirs, we have audiobooks, we have classics, and we have crime. A lot of crime. So I want to say that since I opened Isabel's Digest, I haven't left a book unfinished. I always finish them even if I don't like them. And this month, I got into a reading slump a little bit at the beginning of the year because I just couldn't finish a book. I opened 2 or 3 books and I didn't finish them all. And I feel so guilty. But that actually allowed me to read more books. So if you, like me, usually feel guilty when you leave a book unfinished, just roll with it. It is not a competition. And I think we all need a reminder that we're not less of a reader if we just don't like the book or we just don't finish it. With that being said, bring the books! Okay, so first book of the year, you already heard all about it. Great Expectations by Charles Dickens already has a book digestion in my channel. I opened a blog spot where you can have discussions and reading questions there if you want to check that up. You already know. But as a refresher, Great Expectations is a classic book published in 1861 where you follow the life of Pip, an orphan who wants to become a gentleman and who receives the aid of an anonymous benefactor. Join Pip in his coming-of-age story and marvel yourself at Charles Dickens' talent. I think this was the greatest way of me to start this year. I really wanted to read it. If you watch my other videos, I had this planned for a long time. Enjoyed immensely. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Read it, tell me what you think. Next we have a juicier Victorian classic with The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. If there is a short classic I would recommend to anyone without no matter their interest or reading ability, it will be this book. Published in 1890, is late Victorian by the exponent of aestheticism, Oscar Wilde. Meet Dorian, not Christian, Dorian Gray, a beautiful young man. His friend and artist Basil depicts all his beauty and all his grace in an oil painting that will never age, contrary to Dorian's human nature, who will gradually grow old and die. This realization and somewhat of bad influence from Lord Henry's, Basil's friend as well, result in a chain of events that take Dorian to depravity and extreme hedonism. That is how Dorian Gray, unknowingly so, kind of makes a pact with the devil in this Faustian novel and lives a life of seeking his own pleasure without growing old. Okay, so I think that a lot of people know that part. And if you think that you know The Picture of Dorian Gray because you know what it is about, because you have heard about it, I invite you to read it. As always, I actually took a course back in college called The History of Sexuality or something like that, and I had to read the trials of Oscar Wilde, which is like something like this. And it is amazing if you don't know about it. Oscar Wilde was sentenced for jail time because of his then illegal homosexuality. Some of the proof to judge Oscar Wilde's character was this novel, and you can see that because the preface talks about this and warns you against it. And the preface on its own is a work of art that can send you talking for ages about art, ethics, aesthetics, beauty, and morality. So please make up your own mind. It is a very short story. Read it and let me know what you think, okay? I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Furthermore, we have an audiobook and memoir. The Year of Less, and I need to check the name of that because it's a very long name. If I would change something, it will be that. Okay, it's called The Year of Less, How I Stopped Shopping, Gave Away My Belongings, and Discovered Life is Worth More Than Anything You Can Buy in a Store by Kate Flanders. Told you, long name. So you know I love memoirs, and this was just a delight and a great audiobook experience. I'm amazed that the reviews about this book are so low, and I think it's because of that extended title and how it starts How I Stopped. So people naturally want a how-to guide to stop buying things. And this is not really what this book is about. This book is about the personal journey that this specific woman had, and that maybe you don't relate to her same struggles with alcoholism, food addiction, or you maybe don't overconsume the same things that she overconsumes. That's fine. But what is valuable is that experience and that self-examination and those reflections that she really gets in every step of the way. As I said, it is not a guide into minimalism. You can find those if that's what you're looking for. But this memoir works as a coming of age story. And I feel like when we think about coming of age, we think about teenagers, kids, people in high school, but we never stop growing and we never stop learning and we never get our shit together. With A Year of Less, we follow Kate, I think her name is Kate, and her journey stopping from alcohol, drugs, consumerism, materialism, whatever you want to call it, and just how she tries to be a better person. And she's actively on it, and she has the strongest will, even if she doesn't believe that herself. And I just love how sincere she was. Through her experience, I definitely saw some of the conducts I indulge in that maybe I shouldn't. And while I was listening to her story and her own examination, but it was giving me time to think about myself and think of the things I could change to be a better person. For example, she talks about being sober. And as an alcoholic, that's something that she struggles with because she still hangs out with the group of friends she has that still indulge in alcohol. It's not a way for her to be judgy about it, saying that they're bad because they drink at all. But she feels rejected and she feels out of place because they make such a big deal about it. And as someone who doesn't drink, and as someone who decide not to drink ever, and as a young person, I can totally understand her struggle of being in a spot or of being put in a place where you don't want to be. You don't want to be under a spotlight for something as dumb as not consuming something. So go in with an open mind, allows a change in your life, because I think we all need some self-reflection once in a while. 4 out of 5 stars. Last classic of the month was Lord of the Flies by William Goldwyn from 1954. So okay, you probably know the story. Group of kids, they're in an island with no adult supervision, and they need to come up with their own social structure, their own government, if you want to say that, to cover all the basics: food, shelter, fun, fire, and being rescued. Some of the themes that I touch upon are survival, individuality versus group thinking and group hysteria, morality, adulthood, but more like manhood, like what is a man, what is being a savage, what is civility, and really that juxtaposition of coming from a civilized society and then trying to start your own. You kind of gonna bring some things in, but because of the immaturity and innocence of childhood, we kind of see those fight back and forth. And I like this book. I think it starts in a very distinct tone. It feels very like paradise, and then you immediately see it switch. You immediately get to see how things blow out of proportion, how everything is going to shit, how everything is going bad. And I think it is a very readers friendly book, easy to read. I already knew what was gonna happen. I watched the movie, I've read bits and pieces from the book before, just never fully read it. So I think that gave me the opportunity of looking for a foreshadowing and looking to how the plot was unfolding, and I was expecting certain things, so I was paying attention to the way the characters were developing. So it's a fast me. So if you're like me, you can still read it and look for those things, because I think this is a very good example of how you build a character and then you deconstruct them. My favorite character is Peggy. If you know what happens, yeah. If you know what happens, you know what happens. I think you would especially enjoy it if you enjoyed dystopian young adult novels, because some of the themes are also touch upon those stories are developing here. And just as a side note, I think that all of the books that I've written after World War II, this book is classified as young adult, even when it is a classic. Even if we see it now as a classic, this book was classified as young adult. So I think that those types of book are very special, because they kind of put kids in these positions that maybe weren't unexplored before war. Because wars kind of break innocence and they take innocence away from children. So this is what this book is also doing. And if you want to explore those types of themes in novels, this is a great place to start or to go deeper. I give it 3 stars out of 5. And in my blog, I'm going to post a discussion section with discussion questions and just reading questions in general, if you are interested in that. The other nonfiction I read was A Stolen Life by J.C. Dugard. This is a memoir that I wouldn't recommend for everyone. And this is why, if you don't know, J.C. was a girl who was kidnapped at age 11 when she was walking towards school, and no one saw her again for 18 years. She was held captive for 18 years. She was tortured. She was repeatedly raped. She was manipulated. She was so scared. She had 2 daughters with the man that assaulted her, and it's a very heavy story. She was only rescued in a way because this man took them to the UC Berkeley campus. The police there saw something strange. They investigated furthermore. They asked him to go to the police station, and he brought them all. And only then, only under the possibility of JC losing her daughters and not seeing them again, was when she told them her real name and when she was reunited with her mom. As I said, A Stolen Life is a very hard book to read. It's probably very difficult to listen to as well because of the horrible sexual abuse that JC endured, and just the amount of years that she had to go through that is infuriating. And also the incompetence of the police in this case is also infuriating. And as a trigger warning, I'm telling you, this might not be the book for you. And I'm not recommending it lightly. I'm just recommending it because of the following thing. Even when the manipulation and the torture that JC endured could have destroyed anyone's spirit, it didn't destroy her. And that makes it such an amazing story because of her. Not focused on the abuse and and how morbid it could be, but just how she is such an amazing woman. And she remained positive even in the darkest times. In her book, she includes some journal entries because she was always trying to leave a mark even when she was not allowed to. And she had this list when she would write 10 things I'm happy about, 10 things that make me happy, things I'm grateful for, and things I want to do. Those lists completely touched me because if someone living like that, barely living in filth and in constant mental and physical abuse, can find things to be happy for and just things to be hopeful and grateful for, then we can all endure things. We can all go through things and we can all be survivors. Some of the critiques that she often gets is that she didn't try to run away sooner or to tell anyone, because she did go outside plenty of times, always with the people that held her captive. But the way is like she was so traumatized, so scared, and for 18 years these people were her world, and she didn't know how to live in the world anymore, and she didn't know anything better than when she had with these people. And also she had to take care of her daughter. She didn't know what was gonna happen. She was scared. She was terrified. But still, she wrote that she wanted to see her mom again. She wanted to learn how to drive. She wrote that she wouldn't change anything of her life. And I understand that it's because of the things that happened to her. She was a mother and she loved her children. But that survivor's mode of, I won't change, I can't change anything, so I'm not gonna wish to change anything, just touched me so much. Like, you have no idea. Additionally, after I read this book, I did some research because even though I'm interested in true crime and those kind of stories, I have never heard of hers before. And I saw a lot of people saying that she was in love with her captor and that's why she didn't try to run away. And I'm telling you that's bullshit. I'm telling you that's not what happened. She's not in love with him. She's repulsed by this man, but she chooses not to hate him so she can live a happier life. So she doesn't have those kind of feelings within her. And that's such a brave choice. She is a brave, strong person that is trying to build up her life again. And if you're one of those people who are very quick to judge when this type of cases, maybe you should take a step back, read it from the original source, be more sensible, and be less judgmental. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, then we have the last 2 books I read this month. And those are books that I didn't love, but I did finish them because I had some reasons. First, Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. This is a debut novel. When they are debut novels, I try to be less mean, or I don't want to be mean. That's not the word. I just try to give them the benefit of the doubt because it's a debut novel, right? So this novel was published late 2020, it's very recent. And Pretty Little Wife is a murder mystery novel that follows the disappearance of Aaron, a model citizen, and a math high school teacher. Everyone in town is trying to join efforts to find this man, except his wife, Lila. What she wants to know is why is not his body where she left him? And who is sending her those mysterious messages? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll find out. This mystery focuses mostly on Lila and her motive for killing her husband. Yay. I feel like I need to specify this. I'm not telling you to kill your husband. Yes, no murder. Don't commit murder. But the way this book treats it is kind of like this vigilante justified kill, because we get to know that Aaron wasn't a really good person. It was an okay book, not perfect, didn't love it. I am gonna say that I didn't see the final twist coming up because it's kind of twisted. And as I said, I don't want to be mean, but I think the book had this good foundation. But the argument is kind of already told so many times that you really need to be original and inventive to renew it and make it yours, and I don't think it was fully achieved. Not very remarkable in the genre. It is difficult. Maybe I have read just too many books like this that it doesn't surprise me or impress me that much. But as a debut, we give it a benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 stars. Because I think it had good characters in the police detective, Ginny. And the protagonist was so-so. 3 out of 5. Okay, so last disappointment. Just kidding, okay? I'm really trying not to be mean. I read They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman, also published in 2020. I think August 2020, but I'm not sure. So don't quote me on that. This is a young adult murder mystery novel that follows an elite group of teenagers in their last year of their private prep school. During their freshman year though, their friend got murdered by another member of their elite group called the Players. 3 years afterwards, Jill Newman, our protagonist, is trying to investigate what actually happened and to see if they got the right man convicted. The thing is, I hate everyone in this novel. Just like they are the uber privileged rich kids who just kind of act as if that they have been through hell and they deserve to be above everyone else. And they do go through pretty heavy shit because of peer pressure, because they want to belong, and all of that is pretty good. I understand. I'm not an idiot. I do see why they act this way, but I see no character development until the last chapter that I wouldn't have read. I could have stopped reading this book and be happy about it since kind of like 20%, since the first 20%, but I wanted to see if the killer was the person I thought it was, and it was, because it was pretty obvious, honestly. I think it was a pretty lazy, as I said, the characters didn't develop well. The killer was obvious, and what really stunts me is that they don't acknowledge the bad shit they do. Like they are like, yes, we do pretty bad things, and they go do them, you know? And we're not talking about 11 years old. These people are in the last year of high school and they're acting like this. They acting like they deserve and are entitled to behave this way. And at the end, there's no punishment, no follow-up of them realizing how fucked up their society is. And they just walk away without a lot of consequences. I don't know. Maybe I'm triggered because I went to a private school for like 12 years, horrible years. And of course, it wasn't in that level of richness and wealth and status, but there were definitely these dynamics when the people who work there want to preserve the prestige and want to protect certain students. With that being said, I think that was something good that the book does. It shows that it's not only the students who perpetrate this, but also the people in charge. They know what's happening, they let it happen, and they because they beneficiate from it. And that's something very important about privilege that needs to be said in these types of private schools. That's what usually happens, and a lot of people get things handed to them and they have no consequences. I don't know, maybe I'm also not the target audience for this book. I was expecting something better. Yes, better. The way I landed to this book is because I saw this TikTok that were labeling like books they need to read if you like dark academia, and this popped up. And this book is not dark academia. Let's get that clear. Not because the story is set on a school and there's a murder, or there's a private school and they wear uniforms, it means it is dark academia. But as usual, it is only my honest opinion. I give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Sorry, if you like it, it's fine. If you like it, it's fine. But I don't like it. Although, I heard that there's a show coming up, and it will be very interesting to see how they translate it from here, from the book to the screen. So if you want to see that digestion coming up, just leave it in the comment section. I'll give it a chance. So those are all 7 books. 1 audiobook, 1 physical book, 5 ebooks. Very balanced. I feel like we kind of lack romance. There was no romance going around here. It's fine. It happens. February is coming up. And thank you all for watching and supporting the channel on the social media. I have a new project. As I said, I open a blog where you're going to be able to find the reviews, very similar to the ones I give here and in my Goodreads, but also it's going to have this extra section when you can see additional reading materials, maybe a character analysis, maybe reading guiding questions and discussion questions, so you can be part of the conversation over there. Leave your comments or use it for your own study methods. It's fine. It's free. I hope you go support that as well. Keep reading, and when you're not, follow me in all my social media, link down below. Love you all. I love making videos, and this is our first wrap up of the year. I'm very excited. Thank you for everything. Bye!